We are back live here in our world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. Also, AMFM247.com. Tune in. iTunes, and of course, TalkShoe as well. And you can get more about us over there at JiggyJaguar.com. And Michaela with us today. You can check out her website, Mikayla, King, INC.com. And she joins us today here on our big broadcast. So tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend. You've got all sorts of music out there. You've got a new single. Give us some details here.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I think it's been about a year now since we last got a chance to chat.
Yes.
So I kind of took some time off here, but originally I was signed with V2D Records, Vision to Destiny Records, working with producer Terry King.
Yep.
He did my all my music, arranging, and I actually took some time off this year. I just had a baby, so
Wow.
getting back in the swing of things. I just released a new single called "Wife This." Primary focus rock music and dabbling in pop and hip hop now. So just kind of taking my creative influences and putting some work to it. So I'm excited for this year and branching out a little bit.
Awesome. So with all the different music that you've been involved in, talk to me a little bit about where you see things going now that you've put this single out there.
Yeah, so I want to continue to do this, and obviously everybody's on quarantine right now, so I have a home studio, so I've been locked away and working on new music. I plan to continue with rock music. Everybody knows that is my passion. I love rock music. I won 4 awards back in 2016 for the Independent Tone Awards for Rock Artist of the Year, Rock Best Song, Rock Best Performance. So I kind of want to continue that route, as well as, being independent, you're not stuck to one genre. So looking forward to playing around with that and seeing where that takes me.
If you want to get more information, check out Mikayla, King, INC.com for more information. You can get a free download of some of the latest music, and you can also check out her merch store as well. So for the folks that have missed you on our program before, take us through the music process. How did you get interested in doing the music thing?
Yeah, so music has always been a part of my life since I was a little girl. I started singing when I was about 5 years old in front of people. I made my first recording at 9 years old, and I've just always performed. My parents were a big musical influence for me. Both of my parents sing, they play instruments, and so we traveled and sang across the country since I was old enough to sing. And I signed my first recording contract when I was 18 years old with Light Records. Played around with some country music back then. And I just really have always had a passion for music. And so anything that I can get my hands on, I'm involved in. Music-wise, the award show was a big break for me. Being able to perform at the red carpet event in 2015 opened a lot of doors for me, and then the next year I ended up winning 4 awards at that show. Being with V2D Records allowed me to branch out and really hone in on my craft. Unfortunately, my producer is also my father, Terry King. He ended up developing Alzheimer's, so they ended up closing the record label. So kind of on my own now and just making really good connections with a lot of music industry professionals at this point.
Fantastic. Well, at least you're still making the rounds and keeping the music going. I think that's pretty cool.
Definitely, and it definitely helps having a home studio. I love making my own music and just being creative. You don't have anybody telling you what to do when you're independent. So I can write what I want, sing what I want, make the kind of music that I want. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, what are some of your goals for this new Wife This? Tell me about this.
So currently we have it on Spotify, iTunes, all of the major online stores. So you can find that there. Planning on a music video as soon as we are able to get together. Obviously, the quarantine put a hold on, the process, unfortunately. And planning on, booking some shows this year as soon as we are able to as well. So that is in development. We're also working on the rock opera Dreamland. So considering
Wow.
adding, yeah, it's a great story. It's kind of like a reverse Book of Mormon, I would say. um,
So take me through this this rock opera idea. Why did you decide that this would be a cool thing to do, or was that just like the next steps in the process?
so we actually had written and recorded a lot of rock songs that kind of had a theme. As you'll notice in a lot of my songs, they're very dark, and they talk about demons and Lucifer. And my song Lucy actually is the reverse role of Lucifer. Everybody thinks Lucifer is a male, but what if it's a female? It's like the ultimate definition of a devil woman. So that kind of sparked the idea of Dreamland. So it's kind of like taking you through a fantasy, like you're going down the rabbit hole and then returning to talk about it. So you're going through this entire work of art, and at the end you have to decide, is this real or is this a fantasy? So it's going to be very, very cool, and it's based on the story of Lucifer, but Lucifer is actually a woman.
So tell me a little bit about because you mentioned earlier that you had a kid fairly recently.
Yes.
How did you bounce back after all of this? Because I'll tell you, I look at the fact that you have put a lot of music out there. If you look at some of your photos on your social media, you're quite the perv magnet. How did you bounce back musically, physically, all this stuff?
Well, I'm still in process right now, so I just had my son 3 weeks ago, actually, and I just tried to stay in really good shape while I was pregnant. Fitness has always been a big part of my life, so we continued to work out, my husband and I, and obviously still in recovery, but taking walks every day, just eating right.
Okay. Well, there
Yeah.
you go. So tell me about the writing process for this song.
It's funny. I will write lyrics, and then I will try to, rework them with some music, with my producer. And this time around, I actually was just playing around in the studio, and I've always had a fascination with beats. I was like, I'll just see what I can do. So I just started putting things together. And I was like, man, this sounds really good. I really like this beat. And, my husband's been a big influence of mine as far as things that I write about, as of lately. So, those love songs, and just wanted to use him as an inspiration for this song as well. So obviously he already wifed this, but
so having a home studio and everything, do you have folks that you bring in to help you produce the music once you've got everything recorded and put together? How does this work as far as with a home studio and production and everything?
Yep. So my producer, Terry King, who is also my father, obviously they're over here all the time. So that definitely helps. I worked with him in the studio for a long time, and I was kind of his apprentice with this, learning how the studio programs worked and how to mix and master and do all of that. So up until this point, he has been doing that. And this is actually my first time producing everything on my own, mixing, mastering. And I thought I did a pretty good job.
So, did you have any practice at this, or because
I did. So when I was working with him in the studio, he would actually have me mix and master, and then he would go back through and kind of coach me on, things that needed to be tweaked. So that was my practice up until this point. This one, I just had a lot of fun with it. I was like, we'll just see what happens. We'll see if people like it. And people are picking it up. People are coming from all over the place. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but thank you so much for, joining and, checking out the music on my website and joining my mailing list. I really appreciate the support.
we have got a great guest with us today. Michaela joins us here in our broadcast. So is the spelling of your name your as the rappers like to say, your government name, or is this your stage name?
It's stage name. Yeah, it actually means one who is like God. The name Michaela in Hebrew. And King is actually my maiden name, so I wanted to give a tribute to my father and my family on that note. So Michaela King is the stage name.
We have got Michaela with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio and also AMFM, 247.com, Periscope, Facebook Live as well. So talk to me about your social media following.
Yeah, so, I spent a lot of time working on social media. I really love to connect with my fans. I'm on there a lot. If you send me a message, most of the time, if I see it, I will reply. But I do try to engage with everyone. I love connecting with the fans. If you can't make it to a show, I want to make sure that we're, touching base on, on the regular. So check me out, facebook.com/rockinmichaela13. Send me a nice little message. Tell me what you think about the music.
We have got Michaela joining us today here on our big program. And so while you've been, I guess, locked down and everything with this COVID-19, have you been writing music, producing music, doing any performances on social media, anything like this?
Just the writing at this point, but I do plan on doing some live performances on Facebook. I see that is the big trend right now, is so you can connect with your fans. I really take note of other independent artists and what they're doing. So I'm going to jump on that bandwagon and jump on Facebook Live. I think I've only done a handful of Facebook Lives since I started this career path with the Michaela brand. So I'm looking forward to it and connecting with everybody there.
Now, does your social media following differ? Do you have more people on Facebook than you do Twitter, or vice versa, or Instagram? How does all that work?
I do. So Facebook, there's a lot of networking musicians on Facebook, and we share each other's music. That's one thing I love about the independent community. Everybody is always willing to share your music. And Instagram, it's a little bit difficult to do that. Instagram would be another really great outlet. Twitter, I'm not on Twitter that much. I try to get on there a little bit just to see what my radio station friends are doing and other musicians, but honestly, it gets really clouded with a lot of the trending topics, politics, all of that, which I just kind of try to stay away from. So I stick to sharing the music on Facebook, pictures on Instagram, and of course my website and Reverb Nation and all those other outlets.
Awesome. Michaela with us today. She joins us live in our broadcast. I guess before we let you go, how do we find you online and get your music and everything else?
Yeah, so visit my website, michaelakinginc.com. All of my social media sites are listed there. Click of a button, like my Facebook, send me a message, say hi, connect on Instagram, Twitter, and my music can be found on my website. It can also be found on iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, you name it. It's out there everywhere.
Awesome. Well, you are great. I love the song, and we are going to play it here in just a few moments.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.